Hello, good day everyone. I'm Musa Yusuf Buhari, MB Diet Therapist, a registered member Nutrition Society of Nigeria, American registered member Nutrition Society of America, also active participating member with the Institute of Dietetics in Nigeria. Today I'm going to discuss on therapeutic diet for diabetes. That means the diet that is being recommended for a diabetic patient, a patient that is suffering from diabetes. In the last video, I've discussed about the diabetes, on the causes of the diabetes, what have caused diabetes, and the complication of diabetes. So now in this video, I'm going to talk on the therapeutic diet. That is the food that is needed for a patient suffering from diabetes that is supposed to be consuming. So uh, this include the following. Number one of the food that is expected for a diabetic patient to be consuming or to be eating is lean protein, which includes beans, peas, animal proteins like skinless meat, such as chicken that has been removed. The skin of the meat of the chicken usually contain high level of saturated fat. A patient suffering from diabetes mellitus is not expected to be eating meat that is rich in fatty acid, like skin of the meat of the chicken. Also, meat like fish, it is rich in omega-3 fatty acid. A diabetic patient is expected to be consuming food rich in omega-3 fatty acid like the fish. Also, a diabetic patient is expected to be consuming food that are highly rich in soluble fiber, such as oats, wheat, and other among others. These are the type of the meal. These are the type of the food that are good for a diabetic patient, because food that are rich in fiber, that are rich in soluble fiber, it helps to control or to lower the cholesterol level in the body, and also to regulate the blood sugar levels in the body. That is why it is good for a diabetic patient to be consuming food that is rich in dietary soluble fiber. Also, a diabetic patient is expected to be consuming foods that are less in calorie, because oats and wheat are having less value of glycemic index. When we say glycemic index, we are referring to as the carbohydrate levels of the oats and wheat is very minimum, is very low compared to other food that are rich in carbohydrate. And that is why diabetic patient is not expected to be consuming food that are rich or that are highly in glycemic index. So as such, the best food for diabetic patient, one among, is oat and wheat. This is said to be low in glycemic index. That means the number of the carbohydrate or the calorie contained in this type of the food is very low, and as such a diabetic patient can use it. Also, a diabetic patient is expected to be using fruit and vegetable, but this fruit need to be a fruit that is not carbohydrate rich fruit, because there are fruit that contain carbohydrate. So, and as such, it is not the best fruit for the diabetic patient. So a fruit like ascorbic acid, which is orange, it is good for the diabetic patient because it can help in digestion. Also, a fruit like papaya, that is fruit like pawpaw, it's our local food that we can find it. It's our local fruit, which is also good, rich in antioxidant. It contains antioxidant property, and it has a vitamins E, which helps the epithelial system, the tissue or the skin, to be glowing, to be also rich in nutrients. So it is one of the type of the fruit that is recommended for a diabetic patient. Now, I'm going to discuss briefly on the restricted food that are not the best for the diabetic patient. These include animal products like cheese, like egg, like dairy products that are highly rich in fatty acid content, saturated fatty acid content, because saturated acid they mobilize LDL, that is low density cholesterol, which is bad. They are bad type of cholesterol because they can easily cause damage to the system, and as such it is not the best type of the food for the diabetic patient. Also, a diabetic patient is expected to be restricted from using a high caloric food that is said to contain a high glycemic index, like carbohydrate rich food. It is expected that a diabetic patient should consume either less or to be restrictive away from taking all this type of food so that the blood glucose level can be controlled or maintained. Now, with this foods that are therapeutic that I've introduced, this presentation is backed up by traditional and scientific evidence. A research has been carried out at the Faculty of Science and Medicine in Malaysia, Putri University of in Malaysia, by Ghazali, Siddiq, and Ahmad. So these two scientists, they conduct a research based on the fact that there is a scenario of a case study which has been presented with the fact that a patient of age 46 years old is suffering from diabetes. This patient blood glucose level has been measured severally, and there is no any change in the random blood sugar test. The levels of the glucose in his blood, it happens to be very high, and repeatedly for almost certain period of time. After this patient has been confronted and been counseled by dietitian, and he abide by rules and regulation and the therapeutic meals that have been prescribed to him by the dietitian. So following that particular therapeutic meal that has been prescribed to him, such as all or part of those things that I've explained earlier on, it has proved that after checkmating the levels of his blood glucose level at a certain time, it dropped down from 18.6 to a normal levels. This shows that using this type of food, if you have practiced the lifestyle of this type of food, there is every possibility that a diabetic patient is going to have a long lifespan and is going to stay healthy, and the manifestation of the symptom is going to be is not going to be manifested because of practicing of the good health lifestyle of the diet management. And also, peoples around the rural environment that have been abide by using almost similar type of all this type of food, it has been shown that patients suffering from diabetes that is being within this particular region and is using this type of the food meal used to be dropped, the levels of the diabetes is going to be dropped. So, and as such, therefore it is expected that anybody or any patient that is suffering from diabetic mellitus, if he is being practicing this lifestyle coupled with some exercises, there is a life assurance chance for this patient. So with this, thank you very much. I'm going to talk on other disease condition in the next episode. Thank you very much. I'm Musa Yusuf Buhari, MB Diet Therapist, registered member of the Nutrition Association of Nigeria, NSN, active participating member with the Institute of Dietetics in Nigeria, IDN, also a member American Society of Nutrition. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day ahead.